Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef, and in this video I'm going to show you how to cover a cigar box using the Brother ScanNCut. We're not going to do every step of the process, but from what I teach you, you'll be able to repeat this for whatever kind of box that you have at home that you want to cover based on your own measurements. So this is the cigar box. Yesterday my husband and I went to a flea market and I was able to buy 3 cigar boxes for only $5. I thought that was great because they're brand new cigar boxes. This particular box I repurposed for my blends. My blends is a collection of awesome markers that coordinate with all of the Stampin Up products, and they've come out with more colors since I bought these, and now I needed something that would hold all my blends. Okay, and I put a little octopus in there. Okay, so that's what I did. And this is I used the designer series paper Tranquil Textures just to jazz up my box, because I can't, you know, as the Papered Chef, keep my blends in here, especially when I go to classes. My crafty friends will be like, seriously? You're not even covering your box after all the ScanNCut tutorials you do? So let's bring the machine closer. So when you have your Brother ScanNCut and you've gone through and you've done measurements on whatever project you want. Okay, let me just go back to that pattern. Okay, so you've taken measurements, you've taken length and width. One trick to doing a cigar box is you have to make sure you don't measure this side piece, because the box has to be able to open and close, and you don't want to cover up the side piece. Okay, you've done your measurements. You go into patterns, you go into rectangle, you check this button so that your width and height do not stay in proportion to each other, and you just go ahead and you make your measurements. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do, let's see, width is going to be 9.46 because that's what I measured it to be. We're going to do the top of the lid. That's what we're doing, top of the lid. Oops, sorry, I'm going past 9.46. Actually, I tried 9.5 and it was just a little bit too big, so that's why I changed it to 9.46, because it just needed to be one smidgen smaller. And the height is going to be 7.75. Okay, we're going to go ahead and set that on the mat. You have lots of room here. So if you want at this point to go ahead and add other things to your mat, you can. So for example, we could do a couple of the insides or outsides. Let's just go ahead and add more rectangles. I happen to know that the back of my box is, here, we'll just do the back of my box, 9.75. I'm holding my stylus to go faster. 9.75. There. Okay, and the height is 1.8. I'll put all these measurements on my blog. I mean, if you happen to have the same kind of cigar box, but really the point is not that to repeat this exact cigar box project. The point is to use what I'm teaching you and apply it to your own projects where you want to decoupage or cover up a box that you already have. Okay, and then we can do, we'll just add one more rectangle. I just want to show you, go ahead and make the most of your, again, check that box, make the most of your mat when you're cutting. I'm just going to do one of the insides because I have to do another box anyway. So it's, what's nice about the process I'm teaching you is we can save what we do, save your project. That's the inside of the box. All right, good. And then you can like save it and use it again. All right, so let's load the mat. I gotta make some room here. All right, here's my mat. And my mat happens to be sticky because I used some spray. I'm doing a new experiment. I'm trying to re-stick mats. I'm using some spray I found. So so far it's working, and I'll get back to my crafty friends on my experiment that I'm trying, using different kinds of re-sticking methods. Okay, I'm using Tranquil Textures Designer Series paper. Right now this Tranquil Textures is on sale. Buy 3, get 1 free. And not just this paper, but many of our Designer Series paper packs that are double-sided and pretty awesome. All right, well I know that for when I'm gonna put, okay, so here's the deal. I'm putting this on my box. I'll just tell you how I made this later, but I'm putting this on the top of my box. So therefore I can't cover the top of my box with this side because there'd be no contrast, right? So I could cover the top of my box with something else that has a contrast. So something, but also a coordinating color. That's why I'm using the same. So let's try using this blue, something solid, this light blue, so that it contrasts with my background. So my matte sticky, we don't need painter's tape like I'm usually using in all my videos. I'm rubbing it a little bit. I'm hitting load the mat, and then I'm hitting cut. And then while that's cutting, I'm just gonna get that out of the way and talk about this for a minute. So I had to create this using the software. Okay, so this is, I used a font called Mrs. And I did this on my computer. And I created what's called an offset line. And I'm using the Canvas Workspace software, the PC version that's installed on my computer. And the reason I'm using that version is because I like to access the fonts on my computer. If you don't have a PC, you can always use the Brother Type Converter program, and that'll help you. All right, so, that'll help you access fonts from your computer. Let's say finished, let's say unload. Now, I don't like to make my videos long and drawn out, and that's, you really it needs to be. So, what I want to just tell you is, like, how you would go about, the next few steps. Okay, so here's we peel them off the mat. You have your cigar box, and I'm going to show you our after. Let me find a blank one. Blank cigar box. Okay, so here's our cigar box. We just did our lid. So you would use your rolling adhesive, like your fast fuse, your snail. And my camera's really close, sorry about that, but I needed it to be close for other reasons. So here's our box, and you would use your rolling adhesive and you'd cover up your box. Okay, and you want to make sure, and what's nice about using exact measurements is there's no extra overhang on the sides, so it's not going to hit that part. But you do need a little piece of what's called metallic edge ribbon, because I learned the hard way that you need to put this on before you adhere your lid. So, because cigar boxes are kind of hard to open. So trim a little piece off, fold it over, and glue that on. Here's my lid. And you want to glue that on, or whatever, use your rolling adhesive, however that attaches. Put that on first, let it dry, do whatever you gotta do. It's kind of flat, so it won't be a hump. And then adhere your paper to your lid, okay? It's better if I show you what that looks like here. And the reason is cigar boxes are kind of hard to open unless you put your fingernails in there. And I thought of different things. I thought, well, I could put like a little brad in the front, or a nail, or a push pin, but the problem is I can't stack a bunch of these later. And I want to be able to stack these, so you want a flat solution, and that's what I came up with for a solution. So there's my little ribbon, and then I can use the little ribbon to open my box. All right, so then the outside of the box has one size, and then the inside of the lid is going to have, you can't use the same size for the inside because it will not quite fit. It needs to be one smidgen smaller, because otherwise it's kind of hard to open. I mean, it would fit. You could use the same measurement, but if I made it one smidgen smaller, it seems that the inside of the lid will open and close better. See what I mean? There's a little bit, it's the same width, but then there's that little bit of extra paper sticking out. Okay? What else did we cut? We cut some extra pieces. I was telling you, we cut some extra pieces. So I said, well, we have the inside. Look how well that fits in there. Rolling adhesive. We cut a piece of that outside. I don't know if we cut the back. or the front. Yeah, no, we did. It looks great on the front. Okay, so just basically just keep changing it up. And then, you know, put all the different kinds of paper, inside, outside. Okay, you can decorate it even more. This is just an inspiration for you. Bring back the computer and, bring back the Brother ScanNCut and show you what else you can do. So say you have like a lot of boxes. You order from a certain company and you have a lot of the same size boxes. Well, why not save this project and keep reusing it again? Okay, let's save it. I went back, I'm done cutting, I went back and I went save. You have 4 places you can save it. You can save it to your machine, which is what we're gonna do. You could save it on the USB drive. Save it to your computer if your USB cable is connected to your computer, which I never do because my craft table is a hot mess and I can't even fit a computer on it. Or you can save it to the ScanNCut canvas, which is saving it to the cloud. We're gonna save it to the machine. There it is, it's file number 34. Now let's go back home and cancel everything. So here you are, you're a couple days later, like I need to make some more of those boxes just like I did before, but what were the measurements again? Well, you go to pattern, you go to save data, and you go to your machine. And you scroll, you could either scroll through all 7 pages of projects, and you can find your project, or you can actually just, if you're on page 1, you can go backwards. So when it opens up to page 1, you can just jump to the last page by going up. That's even easier. And there's my different things. So there's your measurements, and then you can go make more of the same thing over and over. It does only save 1 mat at a time. So you're gonna use like a few different mats to make this box. You need a bunch of rectangles. So you're gonna need to save a few files, just like I have done. I've saved the files. And again, I'll share the measurements with you and etc. Okay, so now just one more thing before we end, because I want this to not leave you with any, well, you might have more questions than answers, but that's okay, because I do have an advanced Brother ScanNCut course, and I'll link to that. But I'm saying I don't want to leave you with like any mystery, so I just want to tell you that I did do that one project online. So when you open up your machine and you go to pattern, I can retrieve the project that I did on my Brother ScanNCut Canvas software by going to this button here. And when I do, it gives me the last project that I worked on, which is the blends. This is a font called Mrs. What I love about this font, and I just highly recommend working with script fonts, is that the letters, for the most part, except for the B, is connected. So it's easy to work with. So when you have letters that are connected, they're really easy to like glue and to deal with. And then what I did is create what's called an offset line. So when you put those together, you have a background. But you can only do this with the software. You can't do it on your machine. Okay? And then, what else did I want to mention? Oh, here's my offset line. Okay? There. That you always want to contrast. Okay, so I'm using a font called Mrs. from my PC. I fused the letters. That was the other thing I was going to say. I did what's called welding the letters together. You can do some welding on this machine, okay? But, let me just cancel that for a second. Pattern, letters. Look, you could weld, but these are not good fonts to work with. Although there are 600 things that the ScanNCut gives you, 600 different patterns and shapes, these fonts, okay, A, B, C, okay, they are not conducive. Let me just go ahead and zoom in to welding. I mean, yeah, you could weld them together, but they're not script fonts. They're not meant to be really welded together. I do that sometimes with numbers and things for graduation work, but so anyway, that's why I use a lot of script fonts. And you can learn more about that by clicking on some links below. So thank you for watching. Be sure to check out my Stampin' Up, link to my Stampin' Up store for the specials of what's on sale in the month of July, such as this designer series paper, and I will see you in the next tutorial.